everybody. My name is Brad Nordstrom, owner and operator of Maximum Performance and Fitness here in West Fargo, North Dakota. Welcome back to the MPF podcast.
I am Levi Nordstrom, college student majoring in communications at NDSU, and today, we will be talking about the dark side of fitness culture, unrealistic expectations, and all sorts of stuff today.
So, we're going to turn the lights down in here a little bit then, or what? Since we're on the dark side?
No. So
keep them on. We want to be able to see us.
Yeah, we want to be able to see us.
Yeah.
So we're going to really unpack the hidden pressures behind modern fitness culture and explore how unrealistic standards around physique, diet, and discipline can turn a healthy pursuit into obsession, burnout, or even shame.
This sounds like it's going to be kind of heavy.
It's going to be a heavy podcast. It's going to get you in your feels, in your emotions.
Wow. It's going to get you start thinking about your why a little bit more.
This is a really important topic because you see all these very popular celebrities like The Rock and how they're all jacked and you want to become, that. And it's just maybe not as realistic as people think.
Now that you brought up The Rock, I think back when I was a kid, it was, Hulk Hogan. You wanted to like, oh man, look at the size of that guy's biceps and arms. I want to have arms, pythons like Hulk Hogan, or the Ultimate Warrior, ravishing Rick Rude. He had the abs. You're like, holy smokes! I mean, look at those abs. I want to look like that. But I mean, that was then, and now you look at it, and that was probably at the height of the steroid era in WWF. Behind the scenes, you gotta go to a special door to get those. Now you got it right here on your phone. I mean, it's almost astonishing how much you see and then how much of it is so unrealistic. It's worse than it was when I was growing up, I should say.
I think of Saquon Barkley.
Saquon, yeah.
He has got to have the biggest quads. I mean, also as his teammate A.J. Dillon's also known for that. I think that is possible. He's a football player. He can't really get away with taking steroids. So I think that level's possible. He's just so in tune with, I'm sure he's taking all this protein and whatnot because he's on, I'm sure, this NFL plan. They have a whole weight room and dietitian.
Yeah, sure they got their whole staff. And then, I mean, these guys make so dang much money. They've got their own people, too. Yeah. They've got their own personal trainers. They've got their own chefs. Mm-hmm. So they go home, and they don't even have to think about cooking. It's already cooked up for them. That would be, how cool would that be? I mean, everybody that's listening to this right now would be, man, if I could have my own chef, I'd be fit.
Now, unfortunately for most of us, that's not realistic.
Yeah, probably not.
So how do we know what a realistic goal looks like?
Well, I think that's a tough question because you really want to think about, I always go back to your why. Why are you going to do what you're going to do? I just actually heard somebody say this morning, it wasn't that person, but it was a conversation that he had with somebody else, and her comment was, I just want to look good. And it's like, wow, that was pretty direct. You really don't hear people say that. It's like, oh, I want to lower my blood pressure. I want to feel better and so forth. So how do you know if it's a realistic goal? First of all, like, what is that goal? You got to come up with what do you want to get accomplished with your training sessions. Then sit down with somebody. I'd prefer that you sat down with a professional in the field to discuss, okay, let's say it's body fat percentage, for example. I'm a female and I want to get down to 20% body fat. Okay, well, what are we starting at here? If we're starting at 45% body fat and we want to get to 20, oofda. I mean, that's going to be tough. Or you may want to, hey, I want to put on 20 pounds of muscle in the next 6 months. Well, that's probably not going to happen unless you're going to the pharmacy door. Mm-hmm. Probably the biggest thing is sitting down with somebody that can really help you dial it in. And then setting little waypoints. Let's say your ultimate goal is, I want to drop 20 pounds. And maybe you're 40 pounds overweight. All right, well, that would work. Now let's set little benchmarks. And then work on reaching little benchmarks as we go. So then we get till we eventually reach that goal.
In high school and now in college, I have created SMART goals. We first got taught SMART goals, I think, in gym class, actually, and now in my fitness and wellness class. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Oh, yeah.
It allows you to figure out what you want to accomplish, why you want to accomplish it, and how long it'll take you. And I like how the teachers, honestly, are pretty strict on the SMART goals.
Yeah.
You have to be very specific with what you want to accomplish, and they'll flat out tell you if it's really reasonable or not. It allows you to slow down and really think about, is this achievable for your lifestyle, your goal? That's kind of what I go back to, is I've created SMART goals, and now obviously my goal is to gain muscle so I can honestly hit the golf ball farther. That's like
Perfect.
the one thing for me that makes sense to me, because I want to be able to dial in on the golf course and contribute.
And that's the thing right there. Once you just figured it out. Why am I going to do what I'm going to do? Well, I want to hit the golf ball farther. Okay, perfect. Now you're going to buy in, because you know that's what you want, and that's why you're going to go to the gym and do what you want to do. So that's perfect.
Realistically,
I like that SMART goal.
Yeah, realistically, it's not like I'm going to be playing football in an organized way necessarily. So like golf is a way for me to buy in because I still like the competitive aspect of it, but it's also the solo aspect. It's like it's all on me when it comes to golf. So I need to make sure that I am putting myself in a position to succeed and be the best version of myself.
Oh, there we go. Be the best version of yourself. That's funny. That always cracks me up.
This is more of a random question that I came up personally to ask you. Have you seen people give up after not reaching their goals? Like they come in for a month, start strong, don't reach their goal, and they ghost you.
That does happen, and it happens more often than you want it to. That part of it is probably the most frustrating aspect of my career. Is we all have ups and downs, and it's ups and downs throughout our day, and we tend to give up too soon. Life is hard. Trying to reach goals are hard. So you've got to have that understanding that we're going to have ups and downs. Once again, you got to go back to, why am I doing this again? And then you always, like for me, if somebody doesn't ghost me, then I can always go back to them and say, hey, remember what we talked about. Remember why you are doing this. Don't give up. I kind of look at it, the analogy of you go outside in the morning and you see you have a flat tire. Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to take a knife and slash the other three?
Yeah.
then you're going to run around the rims. You're going to fix your tire. It's no different than, I had a bad day. I went home and I drank 3 beers and I had a whole piece of pizza and I just fell off the rails. Well, fine. You just admit it. You owned up to it. Let's get back on the wagon tomorrow.
And you know what? When it comes to fitness, it's really a holistic thing.
Absolutely.
You can make a mistake one day, but as long as you are, generally consistent and moving in the right direction, you're still going to see results.
No, that's the absolute truth. And I think that people just need to understand that, where, hey, you have a pitfall, lift yourself up, get back on the wagon, get back on the horse. Keep going. Don't quit. Don't quit till you get what you want. You said you wanted it. Now go get it.
I think of the next generation when it comes to TikTok, how everybody loves to just scroll. They prefer the 60-second clips of videos, and if they don't see the results right away, it kind of reminds me of how it's TikTok. They like to keep moving forward, and YouTube's not really as big anymore because of 30-minute videos. Nobody wants to sit and wait. People want that instant entertainment or that satisfaction.
Well, that's no different. Yeah, you're right. That's no different in fitness, because everybody wants to be fit yesterday. Mm-hmm. So how fast can I reach that? Like, well, how serious do you really want to get? And then that's when some people tend to I don't know if you want to call it burnout or what, but they lose sight of it, and they just burn in flames, so to speak, and quit.
Filters, lighting, and editing causing unrealistic looks in photos.
That is interesting. I'm not much into looking. I don't really scroll through and look through fitness models and whatnot. That doesn't interest me. I think that you look at, the bodybuilding world. I mean, they're all fairly narcissistic people, so they like to look at themselves and whatnot. But that definitely is a problem, because those people that do scroll through, and you're scrolling and looking at pictures, and you're right, you can adjust how you look with a camera shot, and then if somebody sees that, like, oh, I want that. Well, it's not realistic. It's not. It's fake.
I'm coming up with a lot of comparisons on the fly here. I think of my weather teacher explaining when he was in the media how when he's storm chasing or whatnot with a tornado, there is like a hailstorm typically, or some sort of storm behind this tornado, and he's outside of the hailstorm. Once it's like, okay, you're on in 3 seconds, he just drives into the storm. Now it sounds like the storm's going crazy and it's loud in the background, just to create that effect of oh, this is a wild environment. We're in the storm right now. We're chasing it. I just think of how media tries to influence you, and it's not necessarily what you think it is oftentimes. There's no way that you can get these certain looks out of your body without doing some stuff.
Yeah.
Or having some nice lighting or whatnot. In the past, we've talked about dieting, which was our most popular podcast. Let's talk about influencers promoting these extreme diets or workouts, even though they might not even do it themselves.
Yeah.
How does extreme dieting negatively affect your body and maybe not necessarily contribute to the looks that these people might have?
Well, I think that, the extreme dieting is like we talked about earlier, is you want that instant gratification. So you're like, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds, and I'm going to do it in 4 weeks. I'm like, ooh. So, that person is, all right, I'm going to go low carb, extreme low carb, keep my protein levels up as high, keep them up high, keep my fat levels up. And I think what happens is that you get mentally burned out. I think for the most part, physically, you could probably handle it, but you get mentally burnt out. You're just trying to do too much too fast, so to speak, to reach that goal. Now, if you look at those influencers, are they doing it? Who knows? Probably not. The one that pops in my mind is Liver King.
Yeah.
So Liver King comes out. I had a client showing me, you got to check this guy out. He all eats his raw liver, and look at him. And my first time I looked at him, I said, there's no way this guy is not on steroids. Absolutely. And he comes out, deny. And then all of a sudden you see a Netflix show on the Liver King, and he finally admits to taking like $10,000 worth of steroid usage every month.
Yeah.
It's like, if you if you really think that guy wasn't on anything, it's like, holy smokes. You can open your eyes and see that he was. All the bodybuilders, not the local ones. Yeah, there's some local ones that you're like, well, come on, And I would say that I probably had a few run-ins with a few over the years, doing body comps that, made me question. But the influencers out there, they're trying to get clicks. That's what they want to do for a job, a career.
Yeah.
And some of them are pretty dang good at it to get you to believe that, holy, if you follow my workout, this is what you can do. I'm like, if they're probably making a lot of money, and I bet you of the people following them, maybe 1% are actually getting the results they want out of it.
Can these extreme diets cause like a bloating sensation almost? Like if there's something going wrong in the body, or maybe like a fatigue?
Well, I don't know
because
if
you're not getting the nutrients.
Bloating per se. I definitely could see fatigue would be a huge problem, especially if you're going extreme low carb and you're depending on what your workouts are all about, and you're not taking in enough carbohydrates. I could definitely see the fatigue being the biggest factor of it. And then what happens typically, those people are going to abuse caffeine. and to try to get that energy level back. So now you're abusing caffeine to get that energy.
Caffeine doesn't really give you energy. It just reduces the effects of sleep or whatever they call it. Now, moving on the flip side, let's talk about overtraining and maybe guilt for missing workouts.
I would say that I don't see a ton of the overtraining in the field where I'm at in our facility. I see more of the guilt part of it. I missed a workout. It still comes back to the analogy of the flat tire. It's, you missed a workout. Maybe a meeting came up. A meeting ran late and you couldn't make it in time, or you were just exhausted. A lot of stress is going on and you overslept for your morning workout. It still comes back to, the consistency aspect of it. Hey, it's fine. Come in tomorrow. Get your butt in here tomorrow and make it happen. As far as the overtraining aspect, a lot of it is mental. I think that can you drag yourself into the ground physically? Yes, but I think also look at it as mentally you can pull yourself out of it. I can think of one person in particular that comes in here that I think I maybe brought it up one time, like, holy man, you're kicking my butt here. I don't know if I can keep up. And he just, nah, let's go. You can do this. And the thing that kind of blows me away is I know that this guy, he's coming in and doing melt, but he's probably running on his own too on Saturdays and Sundays and running miles. And he just, overtraining for the most part, not always, is a mental thing.
You got David Goggins coming in or something?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I couldn't keep up with him.
Yeah.
But hey, just, get in there and carry the boat. Who's going to carry the boat?
And the logs.
And the logs. And the boat and the logs. But so the overtraining part, I think, is more mentally. And then, the guilt, you got to get over it. You got to get over it. Get back on the horse. Let's say you missed a week because you were sick. That's fine. Get your butt back in here the week after. I personally have probably skipped a workout a couple times in the last 5 years because I was sick. I keep moving because I think it makes me feel better.
Doesn't it improve your immune system?
Absolutely. Depending on what your sickness and illness is, for the most part, if you just got a cold, I'm going to keep moving. I might not break any records, but that's fine. I'm just going to keep moving. And typically I can get out of it a little bit faster. So I always, unless somebody's like super sick, I don't want them coming in here and spreading it out to everybody else. If you just got a cold and you've had it for a couple days, keep moving. Get out there, keep going.
Let's talk about obsession with tracking calories. So I know a lot of people like to do that if they're trying to lose weight. I feel like this is more of a mental thing. Yep. The obsession side of things when you're tracking your calories, your steps. Does the steps really matter?
I would say the steps do matter. When we train, we do a lot of higher intensity cardio. Now, with that being said, as I've gotten older, I've kind of starting to understand that just getting out and getting steps in does make a difference. That keeps you moving throughout the day. We should be able to get 10,000 steps in a day. I do believe that that's a real thing. I think we are sedentary. We tend to sit a lot during the day. Thankfully, I don't. I'm always on the move, walking around in the gym and so forth. But a lot of us have desk jobs. So it's like, can you get out for 10 minutes and walk? Yeah, now we're going to head into winter and it sucks a little bit more. But is there ways, taking stairs instead of the elevator will help get steps in? Parking just a little further away, bundle up, walk to your spot or to the building. So I would say definitely the steps do matter. Keep moving, move. And as far as the obsession part of it with let's say tracking calories, it is a mental thing, but some people really live and die by it. So yeah. I'm not going to tell them don't do it. I would help them to dial it in a little bit more. And then there's a lot of people that are like, I'm not going to do that. Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. So then here's what we should focus on eating-wise. And then if you kind of paint a picture of what your plate should look like and so forth, that works just as fine too.
Going back to talking about steps, I know there's probably some college students listening here. For me, just walk to your classes.
Yep.
Don't drive to a closer parking lot or whatnot for your classes. And if you have the excuse of, it's too cold, I'm sure almost every college campus has the tunnels and the...
Have you found the tunnels yet?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And there's these indoor walking, what do you call them, paths to most of the classes, most of the buildings kind of connect to each other. And also what I do, I use the steps every single time. I like never ever use the elevator, and I'm on the 6th floor. So there's no excuses there. Like it's not hard to use the steps, you know. It might get you burning, might get you huffing and puffing a little bit, but that's good for you.
I don't have a watch. I've never really been a watch person as far as keeping track of my steps. I know there's a lot of people that really like that. And I think it's actually really good because it does, you know, whatever, I got to close my rings or whatnot. It tells you, hey, you've been sitting too long. Let's get moving. So I think that's awesome.
How can we avoid burnout? And after you're done, I actually wrote a paper on this. So
really, wow, so that's pretty impressive. I'm gonna be interested to hear about this. Must have been your persuasion class.
No, it was in my fitness class.
Oh,
I
nice.
Wrote a paper on motivation.
Nice. How to avoid burnout? I think that really kind of comes back to, once again, really understanding what your purpose is, what your why is for doing what you're doing. That's number one, because that mentally just gets you locked in to what you want to get accomplished. Getting good sleep. I typically am ready for bed at 9 o'clock. I mean, it's different if I'm getting up at 4 in the morning. So if I go to bed at 9, I feel fairly rested when I get up. If you have opportunities to take a nap, take a nap. That'll help. And then I think the other big thing is the nutrition aspect of it, making sure that you do have a well-balanced diet. You are getting some carbs in there from your vegetables and some fruits and some of your whole grains, as well as your protein levels high enough. And then I think the last part of it is within your workout, you're going to have some days where you just don't quite have it. But as long as you get in there and go for it and get it done, you're going to be better off. Just the consistency aspect of it.
You might not look forward to coming into the gym, but afterwards you're going to be glad you were there.
You won't regret it. You know, you're absolutely right. You won't regret that workout. It may not be a world record workout, and that's okay, but you're going to feel better about yourself when you're done.
On to my 5-page essay that I wrote.
Are you going to read it verbatim here?
I'm going to read it word for word.
Okay, so this is going to be a long one.
30 minutes later.
I better grab a drink.
I tried to find a primary source where it was from kind of a first-person perspective, and I also found a secondary source from a university that kind of explained how to avoid it from, you know, a different type of point of view, which was kind of nice in a way, just to kind of see from two different perspectives. The first person perspective connected a little bit more to me because it feels more personalized. You know, I'm not a huge fan of secondary sources. It was from Elizabeth Roper Marcus is the name. The article was How I Got Myself to Exercise. Basically, it went over how she was not really into sports at a young age, never really liked the traditional fitness aspect, and she found exercise by simply watching shows and walking on the treadmill. Something very simple. And in her article, she basically explained that you don't have to do what I'm doing. Just find something that you enjoy doing and then just incorporate some sort of fitness with it. And of course, I like it because it goes for all age groups.
Yeah.
You know, it's all you're doing is simply just walking on a treadmill, what she did, and watch movies or whatnot. So it allowed her to stay consistent because it was something that she enjoyed. Yeah. She didn't feel like it was a burden to work out.
What you just hit on the head there is there's no one size fits all. And if anybody that's where you go through your influencers and you're seeing these videos and like, oh, this is the only way to do it. No. Mm-hmm. I mean, what I love to say, Melt is the perfect #1 overall workout ever designed for human man and human woman, humankind. Yeah, absolutely. But if you don't believe in it, it's not for you. That's fine. Go find out what works for you. It might be, just like you just said, walking on the treadmill. It might be going and doing yoga or spin class or whatnot. It just comes down to get your butt moving and stay consistent.
My secondary source kind of covered it from afar in a way, talking about the SMART goals, which was something that connected with me because I've just done so many SMART goals in the past where it was like, okay, even this article from George Mason University is even talking about SMART goals, so it must must work. It must be
Yep.
a good way to stay motivated. And it actually connected with the primary source because it also talked about finding something that you enjoy. So that's basically what I wrote about. So I recommend doing the SMART goals like we mentioned earlier and just finding something you're passionate about. Now, moving on, comparison, how that steals your joy from progression. Comparing yourself to others. We've kind of talked about people on the internet looking a certain way and you want to be just like them. And that causes the burnout because you don't recognize the growth that you've made because you're always looking ahead.
I've always looked at it as you're comparing with yourself. What did you do last time? Did you get yourself better? But, now that you said, the way you said that totally makes a lot of sense. You mentally get burnt out of it because you're not getting yourself to the point to look like that picture of whoever. Or on the flip side, it could be the same thing as I'm not as strong as that person. I know I could be stronger. And I think that, I see that in here. For some people, it's just the extreme competitiveness of it, where they want to beat everybody else and be the king of the gym, the alpha male, so to speak. But it really comes down to is, did you get better?
Yeah.
Did you find a way to get better? And when you understand that, you know what? You look in the mirror and as I worked hard today and I got myself better. Hold your head up high when you walk out. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big thing when it comes to like testing. I didn't run the 4.4 that so-and-so ran. Who cares? What did you run last time? Well, I actually got better by 0.15 of a second. Oh, that's awesome. Maybe on the VersaClimber, I got 220 feet. Well, my training partner got 250 and I couldn't beat him. Well, what'd you get last time? Well, 205. Well, heck, you got 15 more feet than normal. So you should always don't compare to others. You compare to yourself and what you're doing.
Others have been put in different situations. They might be genetically a little bit different than you are. They might have a better diet than you have.
Might be mentally tougher than you. Doesn't matter. Just challenge you.
I would say having somebody to chase in a way is not a bad thing.
Absolutely.
Because then you have that bar set that you're chasing for. Just like I said, it's important to really notice your progress that you've made towards that bar.
I totally agree with you there because I've got that person that I like to chase, and I may win the race once a year, but it feels pretty dang good to win the race once a year, but I don't live and die by it.
What I put down next was follow creators promoting realistic goals. I actually want to change what I put down here because I think of it as let's follow creators in specific sections of health. So like follow people that promote, baking in a healthy way or cooking meals in an alternative way that's healthy, and come to MPF because you got, the proper workouts. And I'd think of just following the people that are skilled in their specific category. Overall can create a really healthy environment to grow, because The Rock, he might have a lift that's, crazy, but he might not be an expert with food because he probably has his own chef or whatnot
cooking for him.
So I just think of let's follow the people that are experts in their specific section.
That's true. I look at what we were talking about earlier. A lot of it was kind of maybe the negative aspects of it. Now, if we look at the positive aspects of it, I hear it all the time. Well, I don't have time. Well, that's bull, because most of the time you see how many hours are we scrolling through social media and whatnot, and it's usually looking at, like you said, pictures and so forth. Maybe look for cooking videos. Hey, that looks good. Well, let's try cooking that tonight or tomorrow night, and then get your grocery list ready and get your groceries so you can do it the next night. So I always look at it, if somebody wants to reach a certain goal, like you talked about, you got your SMART goals, you got to have a plan to get there. So what is that plan? Well, if you're, like I said, you need to change some things nutritionally, What's for following some cooking videos, and then let's try them.
Following recipes can be fun.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
can be entertaining. It's maybe something that you don't do often, and it kind of puts you outside the box. And
Yep.
I think it's something different. I'm not good at cooking, but I can try.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You have to try. Who cares
Yeah.
if it? You get better the more you do it.
Mhm.
I mean, I enjoy cooking. Actually, probably more grilling and smoking meats and so forth. Maybe not as much mixing things together and throwing in an oven, but I wasn't very good at it. And you just keep playing with it. You find something you like, and you just kind of keep tweaking.
Rest and balance. This kind of goes with the overtraining in a way. This is very important for progressing. How does rest help your body recover and actually get stronger? Taking breaks.
Well, I mean, we're training hard. So you go through and you train hard each and every day. You're breaking your body down. You're breaking your muscles down. So you either need to have a really good nutrition, I mean like solid nutrition and supplement plan, or you've got to, or you still got to have some rest built in there. You've got to take a little bit of time to idle down a little bit. I'm not great at it. I like to push hard all the time. But then there are some days where, it's Wednesday. I'm going to lighten my presses up a little bit because I know Friday I want to bench press heavy. I've found that personally, if you're pressing and you're doing your pulls or whatever, if you're lifting heavy every day, eventually you're going to break down too far. And now you get dinged up and then you set yourself back. Now, if you can go hard, whatever, Monday and Tuesday, go a little bit lighter Wednesday, but you keep moving, and you go hard Thursday and Friday, you're going to progress along. I tend to either take Saturday and Sunday off, or if I'm going to come in on a Saturday, I'm going to go through a cardio. I probably won't go as hard as I do during the week. And then I'll do some fun things for lifting. It's some dead hangs, some farmer carries, just stuff that you don't typically do. Work on the rotator cuff strengthening, and that makes it fun too.
We kind of covered celebrating small wins and personal growth, maybe some PRs.
Yeah.
One thing that I do want to quickly add in here before we wrap this up is let's make sure we're skeptical of quick fixes and trends, because they might not be right for you compared to somebody else, and they might just be completely bogus, fake.
I've never been a quick fix person or a trendy type person, and I think it's probably because of how I grew up on the farm, and there isn't a quick fix. There isn't, for the most part. Trends are just trends. They're going to die off. It still comes down to the nuts and bolts, the meat and potatoes, the training hard, the dumbbells, the barbells, the cables and whatnot, and the steps, getting your movements in. You've got to put in the time. You got to put in the effort if you want to get from point A to point B. It's just how it is.
We've reached the ending of episode 7 of the MPF podcast. Here to give you guys good fitness advice every Sunday. Make sure you guys like this video if you enjoyed. Put a comment below of any questions you have. We'll see you guys in the next one.